Gassy Jack Gear Review coming at you again. Thanks for tuning in. I have not only a wristwatch check. Check that out. It's the Hamilton Pilot Day Date Auto, otherwise known as the Interstellar. So this is not only going to be a wristwatch check, this is actually the wristwatch that I'm going to do a very quick review on today. This is not going to be a full review. It's just going to be a quick sort of opinions video on it. I will do a full review on this at some point, so tune in. I'm going to take this off my wrist right now to give you a better close-up look at this. Again, they're calling this the Interstellar. For one reason, it was in the movie Interstellar with Matthew McConaughey. I thought that was a fantastic movie. If you're into sci-fi movies, definitely check that one out. This watch by Hamilton, as I think most Hamiltons, has an ETA movement in it. This is an ETA 2834-2. It's got a sapphire crystal on the front. The back, I believe, is just mineral glass. Doesn't really matter. It's against your wrist. Nothing's going to happen to that. But it's got a sapphire in the front, and it has anti-reflective coating on it. When I first got this watch, I wasn't sure if it was sapphire. I knew it was advertised as sapphire, but I'm like, are they pulling a fast one off on me? I'm just going to clean this off for you. And it's like, what's going on here? And the reason I say that is because one of the tests you can do to see if it's sapphire, and it's one of the tests, and I've learned that it's not a foolproof test, is that you can put droplets of water on it. If you were to take a regular mineral crystal and put droplets of water on it, they spread out. The water just kind of spreads out across the glass. Whereas if you put droplets of water on a sapphire crystal, they will very much retain their shape. Okay, it will hold. The surface tension will hold on a sapphire crystal, but it won't on a mineral crystal. And when I ran out of water, it wasn't holding the surface tension. It was spilling out onto the glass. I was like, what's going on? Wait a second here. So, my neurotic self, I start looking at videos and doing research and stuff like that. And I started finding that, no, not necessarily is that a foolproof method. It depends on the polishing. So I thought, well, maybe it's not as highly polished as some. But then I thought, well, it's a Hamilton watch, which is a decent brand. And I have aftermarket sapphire crystals in some of my Seikos, like that turtle there, which I've done a review on. And that crystal aftermarket was like $40. And so I thought, well, that's not even an expensive crystal. And that one, when I run it underwater, the surface tension on the water doesn't break at all. So I thought, what's going on here? And then I started thinking, you know what it could be? It could be the anti-reflective coating maybe affecting that. So I'm like, okay. And the funny thing is, what I did was I took Polywatch and I put it on this crystal. And Polywatch is it's like a chemical that you would put on a Heslite crystal to polish out any scratches. But anyway, what I did was I put it on there and I polished this, and I thought, oh, what am I doing? Maybe I'm going to take off the anti-reflective coating. And maybe I did, maybe I didn't. I don't know. It looked, to me anyway, it looks exactly the way it did before. But the water now doesn't break its surface tension. So, interesting fact. Maybe I'm an idiot for trying it in the first place, but whatever. This watch here, let me just bring you into the dial. The dial on this thing is what sold me. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it any justice, but those numbers, the 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, and so on, they are metal. And if you were to put them under a microscope, and I can't, even if I bring them up really, really close and hope that it's not going to. You can't even see it. You have to, I think you have to put them on pretty much under a microscope. They have lines running down them like this, like they're carved in, vertical carvings in. And that's what, if you see how they kind of pick up light, that's what's picking up that light. There's these channels cut in them, like almost like little triangle, but like they're cut this way and that way, but vertically. and it just picks up light like I've never seen in a dial before. It's a really cool effect. And it can go from almost disappearing. You can see some of them. So look at that. It's a very mesmerizing dial. Let's play with that a little bit for you. You can see it's got a bit of a starburst effect, but that is just, I believe, the glass. No, actually, yeah, no. The dial does have a bit of a starburst effect. Very slight. I'm not gonna pull. Sorry, I'm not gonna pull the crown. It does not have a screw down crown. I think water resistance is 100 meters. I would feel safe in the shower with this, but I would not go swimming with it. I don't take it in the shower just because why bother? I'm not going to risk it. This for me is a dry watch. I know it says 100 meter. If you know anything about watches, you know 100 meters doesn't mean 100 meters at all. 100 meters basically means you can splash around a little bit in the pool and that's it. You know what? For me, if it's not a diver's watch, I'm not taking it in the pool. Although, you know what? That being said, I have this Swiss Army watch that I've had for 23, 24, 25 years. And I used to wear that in the shower all the time. I went swimming with it, canoeing with it, everything like that. And it's never had a problem. And I think that water resistance says 50 meters. So go figure. I don't know if it's hit and miss. I don't know if some watch manufacturers do it better, but I'm just not willing to take the chances these days. I just didn't know any better back, when I got that watch. And I would just, well, it's a watch, you can take it in the water. No, didn't know anything about it. But now I pay a little more attention. Let's look at this case. It's got really nice fine brushing on the sides. Chamfered edges that are polished. And then brushing on the tops again. There is very thin polishing on the outer edges of the inner links. And then brush sides, brush tops. Solid end links. Okay. Really nice milled clasp, except that. Here's the only fault that I have with the watch. Let me put it on my right side for a second, just for display sake. That's what I'm talking about. If stuff like that drives you nuts, then that'll drive you nuts. So I know that the watch is almost always down, but you're driving your car and stuff like that, you can see it. I don't know, like, it's not an expensive watch, but it's expensive enough. I just think that they can do it better. And I think that companies, I don't know, maybe I'm talking out of my butt, but companies can do better. And I kind of feel like they need to. Like, if you look at the design here, they could have designed something or had even probably taken something to aftermarket or taken from an aftermarket manufacturer and incorporated it into this bracelet. Like, look at that. Like, they could do better. They could have done a better. They could have made this flush design and still had adjustments. They could have. They just didn't. And I think that companies need to take a look at things like this, these little things, and say, you know what? It doesn't matter if it's not a $2,000+ watch. We could have done better, and we should have. So hopefully the companies start listening to little guys like me, complain to them, and talk to the dealers and stuff like that. Maybe the dealers talk to the manufacturers. I don't know, like, and take it to them. This ETA movement. This is the only, it's the only ETA movement I have at this point. And I really like it. And I remember, you know, always watching reviews and stuff like that and seeing this watch with an ETA movement and that watch with an ETA movement. I thought ETA, ETA, ETA. They're all over the place. What's the big deal with them? I know they, you know, basically own the, you know, well, they're made by Swatch and they're owned by Swatch, and they're basically in their most popular aftermarket, or not aftermarket, most popular movement that's non-in-house for most watch manufacturers. And after owning this watch, I mean, I can see why people use ETA movements. This isn't even a high-end movement. Like I said, what is it, the 2834? Yeah, the 2834-2. This is by no stretch of imagination a high-end movement by ETA. It's not decorated. It's not even like, it's just nomenclature-wise, it's not one of their high-end movements. But I'll tell you what, I mean, this thing keeps really good time. I don't know exactly the accuracy I'm getting, but you know, after a day, it doesn't really seem to be off by. I would say it doesn't seem to be off by more than a few seconds right now. So maybe I lucked out, but it's buttery smooth when you turn it. Let me see if you can hear it at all. And I'm really impressed by this movement. I would, you know what? Maybe I'm an ETA fanboy now, I guess. The dial again, those hands have the loom on the hands. Though those numbers are not loomed, nor are the inner numbers. What is loomed is the seconds track. The seconds track is loomed. So at night, you can tell what time it is. It's not like you're like, oh, I can't. Oh. No, you can tell. You know the 9's over there, the 3's over there, 6 over there, and then that big metal one is missing. That's the 12. You can easily tell the time at night. And some people say, if you look, that the bottom of that hour hand is cut out. And some people say it's when it goes over the date, you can still see the date. Or when you go over these numbers, you can still see the numbers. I mean, you can see that it's not big enough. It's not big enough. So that, there you can see it good there. I don't think that's the reason. Maybe they tried to and it didn't. I'll tell you, it didn't work, but it looks cool anyway. But yeah, the Interstellar by Hamilton is definitely a watch I would recommend. Even with that big gap there, even with that, I think it's still a watch that I would recommend. Well, it is because I'm not getting rid of it. So I recommend this happily, but just know that that is there. Has 3 adjustments. I think 3 is good. 2 adjustments is not. You need at least 3. 3 is, I think, ample. 2 is not enough. 4 is perfect. But for the price range, ETA movement, definitely a buyer. I'm going to put this down and say goodbye. Gassy Jack Gear Reviews. If you like this review, please subscribe. Please like the video. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them there. You might see some watches on the channel that you want compared against each other. By all means, ask me, and I would be happy to make a video for you and do a little shout out for you. So take care, guys and gals, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.